Rapids and the lady at 46 South Road. 46 South Road.
About to take the train into Manhattan. The good thing about coming back to New York is that I'm retired police, so I get to use a MasterCard to get out for free. Anywhere, public transportation, bus, train, anything. And basically, so if God's Army recruits here in New York, and these guys are retired police officers or detectives, they can basically ride all over the city for free and just patrol on the city's dime. God's Army is, okay. But what God's Army is basically, it's retired military and law enforcement, Christians and Catholics, that want to take to the streets and build a relationship, build that bridge of relationship and trust between the community and the police departments. You see, the police department cannot police itself. And we need an entity that's separate from that entity. The God's Army is out to preach the gospel, to build relationship with the people that the police department can't. The police department arrests, and if they get into a shooting with somebody, they can't just be the abuser or the assaultee and then go say, oh, let me help you. It's impossible. So God's Army are made of ex-military, ex-law enforcement, or retired military, retired law enforcement that want to help the community rebuild itself. To be there, we deal with misconduct with police departments, we deal with corruption. We're the ones that go after them when they step out of line. You see, internal affairs can only do so much for the police department. There's always that situation where if the police department's about to get sued and they can find that the police officer was at fault, they'll just say that it's an ongoing investigation. They'll never say he's at fault, because that means that the lawsuit's going to be jacked up. But with God's Army, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to have a press conference right over here at 250 Broadway, and I'm going to have a press conference to try to call out the city councilwoman, Vanessa Gibson. She's the chairperson for the Public Safety Commission, and let them know that we're going to be hitting the streets. And God's Army is going to be hitting the streets here in New York. I just came from Los Angeles yesterday, having the same situation, the same conversation with the Public Safety Committee there. My intention is to go all around the U.S. to all the big cities to raise up this army. Right now what we do is we're in Phoenix, and we've addressed Sheriff Joe Pye. We went up there and when he came against the illegal immigrations. When they abuse their authority, we're going to step into place. We're going to be the voice of the people. So what do you think about that?
I like it.
You like it? I think people will like it. I think the only ones that won't like it are the police department. We don't count our numbers.
Okay.
But what we're doing right now is we're campaigning, we're going to recruit, we're trying to set a precedent, and we're going to start hitting the streets. Like yourself, you see it, and what's going to happen, people see things, they start tweeting about it, say, hey, I just saw a guy wearing a gun belt and a gun wearing God's Army. What the heck is that about? It causes people to ask questions, and then the answers are there. Also, you can follow me on NYPD Preacher YouTube. NYPD Preacher on YouTube. Yeah, and you'll see all the news media stuff that we've been involved in, hitting the streets and everything, and spread the word, because that's what we need. We need people's support, and I think the people will support. Oh, we're gonna go everywhere.
The next stop is 7th Avenue, 53rd Street.
I'll let you know in case you're curious. What's up? In case you're curious, I'm a retired NYPD preacher.
Oh, yeah?
And basically what we're doing is I'm traveling around the U.S., going to all the major cities. We're kind of set up God's Army with the retired military, retired law enforcement. To kind of go out there into the street, build a relationship and trust between the people and the police department. Because when a police officer gets involved in a shooting, they can't go in and try to make peace. Right. We go in and make peace because we're a separate entity. We represent the church, we represent God, we represent us. So that's what we're trying to do. And that's like, I'm out here to try to have a press conference with city council member Vanessa Gibson. So I was communicating with her and stuff like that. We'll probably be coming out again and meet with them when they have the public safety committee on June 14th. So we're trying to let the government know, the city officials, and the King Melody and myself, and the passion on the one organization. And like I said, we're going out there raising it up. It's kind of like what Guardian Angels did. Right, yeah. It's different. Because our guys will be armed out in the streets because they're retired cops who can carry a weapon, and they're experienced, and they're here to back the guys up and get any backup to kind of like throw things out. Right. Yeah, of course. So, just to give you I saw you looking, so I didn't want to get
We're looking at the belt of what's going on.
Yeah, there's no fire on my mind. Hey, can I have a thing? Here's the Freedom Tower, New York City. God's Army hitting the streets. Sure doesn't bring back good memories. I remember this little cemetery right here was completely covered in soot, ashes, about a foot deep, and there was paper everywhere. It was ridiculous. I gotta pass by and pay my respects to people that died of it. I think I got pictures of this place. I might show it to you.
You go ahead.
Lady 46 South Lady 46 South
Okay, right now we're in front of 250 Broadway, waiting to see if the press shows up for the 12 o'clock conference. Now, I'm still here doing what I have to do for God's Army and letting the people know that God is going to raise up an army of ex-military, or I should say prior military and prior law enforcement, armed to hit the streets everywhere in the U.S. in every large city. I'm going to try to meet with City Council member, the Public Safety Committee Chair, Vanessa Gibson. Now, I don't know if she's in her office here. This is the legislative location. Her office is usually up in the Bronx. But we're here to try to set precedents to let people know and let the government know what our intentions are here for God's Army.
Thank you for calling the District Office of Councilmember Vanessa Gibson in the Bronx. Please listen closely as how many options have changed. But if you know, please know. If you need assistance, please press 2. For scheduling, please press 3. For questions regarding our upcoming events, please press 4. If this call is regarding budget, legislation, or parent inquiries, please call our legislative office at 212-78.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Richard Tamai. I'm a pastor of a ministry called God's Army. Is Vanessa Gibson still the chairperson for the Public Safety Committee? Okay, I had a question. I was actually calling, I tried to set up a press conference here in front of the 250 Broadway location, the legislative office. The situation here is basically I'm a pastor, I'm from Phoenix, I'm a retired New York City police detective, and what I'm doing is I'm campaigning and traveling throughout the United States. I just came from Los Angeles. I'm trying to hit all the large cities and meeting with Public Safety Committee members to let them know that God's Army is a military, I should say, it's a prior military and prior law enforcement army of guys that go out armed into the city streets to try to help build and build a bridge of trust between the community and the police department. You know, especially with the shootings and when there's civil unrest, we tend to come in and try to be the people that the entity that I should say, the entity that the people tend to trust, because after an incident like that, they don't want to deal with the police. So we've done it in Phoenix, and we're basically spreading out throughout the United States. And I was basically gonna, you know, inform the Public Safety Committee of our intentions in New York City. Now I know you guys, I can come and basically have a press conference when you guys are all together at your next public safety hearing on the 14th. I think that's June 14th on Wednesday or Tuesday. But that means I would have to travel in. I would rather have the conversation with her off camera, kind of giving her a heads up, so this way she can be a little bit more knowledgeable of what we do before getting blindsided. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Very well, thank you. God is in G-O-D, S, Army. But yeah, I'm gonna give you a more direct location, because there's so many God's Army on Google. If you Google it, it'll be ridiculous. So I'm gonna give you I'll give you NYPD Preacher. Okay, NYPD Preacher on YouTube, and basically you'll be able to follow all of our news, media coverage, newspaper articles, and things of that nature, and how we've been setting up in Phoenix, Arizona, and now basically the church is expanding. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going on a campaign to all large cities and meet with public safety committees in all these large cities throughout the United States to build an army within their cities, so that we can build that, like I said, a bridge of trust between the community and the police departments when something bad happens, you know, involving the police, just like it has throughout the nation. So I would recommend you definitely looking it up through NYPD Preacher. I am prior New York City police detective that moved out to Arizona and started this organization, this church. And basically, once you feel comfortable, I mean, one way or the other, I'm gonna get Miss Gibson in front of the media, even if it's not whether it's a comment from her. And I know when you guys are sitting on the public safety committee, there's no comment from the committee, but we will.
You're more than welcome to attend the public safety meeting, either 12 or the 14th, just make sure you have ID to the city hall.
Sure.
If you wish to testify as far as your organization, etc., from the committee, it has to go in this portion at the end of the meeting that's open to the public to speak. That's when you will speak and address your concerns, or not concerns, but address your organization, and you work with a legal team to testify in the next meeting. You have a small portion to explain exactly what your organization is about.
Right. Very well.
But I would like for you, if it's possible, if you can send me over a draft email in regards to your organization, what exactly the organization is composed of, exactly how you're trying to go about this, speaking with the committee.
What God's Army is about?
Alright, God's Army is basically retired law enforcement and military guys that are Christians that are going out on the street armed. And I'm here in New York City, and basically I'm campaigning throughout different cities, large cities. I just came from Los Angeles yesterday, speaking with the Public Safety Committee. Today I was here in 250 Broadway to speak with City Council member of the chairperson for the Public Safety Committee, Vanessa Gibson, and trying to talk to her and let her know what God's Army is about. So what I'm doing is recruiting retired cops who are Christians to go out in the street, uniformed like I am, to preach the gospel, to build a bridge between the people and the community, the bridge of trust.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that, brother.
I think everybody should.
I'm a born again
Yeah,
Christian.
I'm a born
with
again
you on
Christian.
that.
Listen, I'm the pastor.
Holy Church.
I'm retired PD. I'm retired NYPD, but I'm out in Phoenix. If you want to follow us, go to NYPD Preacher on YouTube. started this organization out there. We went against Sheriff Joe Arpaio when he went did illegal immigration issues, when he was abusing his authority. We're coming to every city, and if there's police misconduct, we deal with it. If there's a shooting, we go and we comfort the people. You can't have the police go in there and try to comfort when they just shot somebody. You understand? To calm the people down, we're like I said, prime military, prime law enforcement that want to preach the gospel, build a bridge of trust between the community and the police departments, because you know, one government against the other government. This government is going to pertain and help the people. So put the word out and what people preaching. All right, brother? I'm actually living in Arizona. I just came in. I'm leaving today at 4 p.m. Yes, but God bless. Listen, go to NYPD preaching. Listen to me.
922 St. Nicholas Avenue.
All right.
922 St. Nicholas Avenue.
You hear where it's at? I'm recording it, so I won't forget it, because I forget stuff. But listen, speaking to other people, go to NYPD Preacher, YouTube, and follow us. And you'll see what it's all about. And you'll get all the media coverage and all the articles and stuff. Right? Ask your preacher. Go to tell your preacher about it. And then if he calls me, I'll come down.
I'm on the prayer.
I'll fly out.
NYPD Preacher.
NYPD, you can't mess it up. NYPD is police.
NYPD
Preacher.
All right,
Right?
I'm
On YouTube.
on your word.
Yeah. Listen, if your preacher
my
gets
bishop name is Bell. He's the pastor, but I call him the bishop.
Right.
All right. He's Pastor Joseph Bell.
Then listen to me. You tell him, have him watch my YouTube channel, and if he feels he wants to invite me, send me a shout out, and I'll come down.
All right.
We got to preach gospel.
Brother George Smith.
Yeah, you got me, bro.
His armor bearer.
I'm a pastor. I'm not gonna lie to you. God's army. We're coming to your territory. All right, brother. God bless. God's Army is basically retired military and law enforcement guys.
Thank you for your service, by the way. God bless you.
That are Christians and Catholics.
Okay.
That want to go out into the streets to basically kind of build the bridge of trust that the community and the police department have lost. Because when a police officer gets involved in a shooting,
So it's a police officer
if they do something wrong, they can't go back in and try to repair things. You know? So what we try to do is we go out into the streets, preach the gospel, build that bridge of trust between the community and the police department, and then go out there and basically just build a relationship. Like I said, we're all fire military. It's called fire military. Military and law enforcement. Fire, yeah. And they're the ones that get to carry weapons out here.